Okay, welcome to Firearms Friday from the Wyoming State Museum here in Cheyenne. My name's Evan Green. I'm a volunteer firearms historian here at the museum and have been going through the firearms collection here, doing some research, cataloging the guns, and making some of these videos, which I hope you enjoy as much as I like making them. We're about to hit 50 videos that are out there. So I'm really pleased that we have some regular subscribers and regulars who comment on these videos. So let's talk about Underhammer firearms. And this is in response to a person who commented on one of the other videos. Do you have any Underhammer firearms in the collection? Well, we have a couple. So this one, this pistol, I need to make sure I get the name right. Nikanor Kendall from Windsor, Vermont, was a renowned and famous manufacturer of Underhammer firearms. His target rifles, his hunting rifles, and his shotguns, all Underhammer Percussion muzzle-loading firearms, were extremely popular and very well thought of. So this is a pistol that was made in his factory. It turns out a lot of his guns were made by convict labor in Vermont, which is kind of interesting. So this is an Underhammer pistol. The research that I did indicated that most of his pistols were 31 to 36 caliber. This is a full 45, so it's a big one. Been broken here and repaired with brass strips and screws on both sides. So what were the advantages of an Underhammer ignition system versus the more common external hammers that would be either on the side of the firearm or sometimes in line with the barrel? A couple of things. For a handgun, for this handgun, it made it really easy to carry in your clothes or a holster or in your boot. Some of these were called boot pistols or bootleg pistols because that's how they were carried. So you'll see that there are, other than the sights, there are no really projections that would interfere with pulling that pistol out of your boot, out of your holster, out of when it's tucked into your belt. So that was an advantage for the handguns. What about the rifles? As I mentioned, this guy, Kendall, made target rifles, really accurate, well-made target rifles. And because the hammer's on the underside, the top of the firearm is available for any sight or sighting arrangements that you want to use. In fact, there were some full-length telescopic sights used in this era. We know that this particular pistol was made between 1835 and 1838. 1835 is when Kendall started his firearms manufacturing business, and he changed the stamps on the barrel in 1838, so we can date this very precisely. So that's a pretty cool little pistol. Obviously, applications for defense. It wasn't really a target gun, but obviously this one's been carried a lot, used a lot, broken somehow at the grip. So let's look at this other one. This is also an Underhammer firearm, and you can see this is the hammer, and the nipple is in the bottom here of the barrel. So this one's a puzzle to me, because the accession documents say that it is a cane gun. And certainly cane guns and cane swords were fairly popular with the gentry because the gentleman out for a walk on the mean streets could be armed, although not obviously so, if he had a cane that concealed either a sword or a firearm. But I'm curious about this because, number one, it's fairly short for that type of firearm, for a cane gun. I'm not a very big guy, and it's really even too short for me to use as a cane. There's some evidence that it may have been cut at the end of the barrel. There are no sights, so it is not ever set up as a target pistol. But the cane guns that I located when I was doing some research on these, number one, they were all longer, so that they would in fact function as a cane. And because you didn't want to jam dirt in the muzzle of your gun, there was some sort of a cap. And that cap, to protect the muzzle, was often at the end of a tube that slid over the barrel, again, as a way of concealing the fact that your cane was actually a firearm. But I see no evidence of any way that a sleeve of that sort might have been attached to this gun. So it's a mystery. I don't know what it is. You can call it a cane gun. I'm not sure that's what it is. But anyway, Underhammer firearms. The other advantage, and it's not so important in a pistol as it is in a long gun, because when you're shooting that long gun, your face is relatively close to that percussion cap on the nipple that ignites the charge. And it's possible, occasionally, those caps would rupture and there be thrown back into the face of the person using the firearm. And to the best of my knowledge, eye protection was not a thing in those days. So with the percussion cap nipple on the bottom of the gun, it would deflect that. Those shards or particles would be reflected down instead of back into the face of the guy shooting it. So, to the person who asked about Underhammer firearms, I hope this was informational and interesting to you, as well as the other folks who watch our videos. So, Underhammer firearms. Thanks for watching.